Poem 5. Soft Storm by Abhi Subedi. Summary. Abhi Subedi's poem, Soft Storm, unfolds in free verse, weaving a tapestry of natural and societal descriptions. While it appears to chronicle a journey through the nighttime streets of Kathmandu, it carries a deeper message about the indifference and suffering in Nepalese society. The poem masterfully melds these two dimensions, creating a poignant commentary on the contemporary situation. The opening stanza sets the stage by juxtaposing the turbulent social milieu with the calmness of nature. The chaos and tumult in the society are painted with words like eerie and tumult, contrasting starkly with the imagery of blooming crocuses reaching for the sky. This imagery symbolizes hope amidst adversity, suggesting the resilience of nature. However, as the moon wanes, the poem shifts to discussions of politics and social activities, hinting at the superficiality and rhetoric that sometimes dominate public discourse. In the second stanza, the poem takes a darker turn, exposing the harsh realities of homeless and parentless children crying for food and shelter. This portrayal serves as a critique of corrupt political leaders who prioritize personal gain over the welfare of their constituents, leaving vulnerable children in dire straits. The poet's lamentations highlight the perilous future that these forsaken children face due to a society marred by systemic flaws. The third stanza paints a vivid picture of the city's paradoxical duality. Amidst the revelry of skyscrapers and parties, the poet yearns for the genuine freedom that has been eroded. This nostalgia for simpler times is contrasted with the suffering he witnesses among his fellow citizens. Throughout the poem, stark images of suffering and indifference persist. The poet's descriptions of a lost child, a man beaten before his family, and the locked voice of the oppressed reveal a society rife with injustice and apathy. These portrayals provoke a sense of rebellion against the system, urging for change and justice. The closing stanzas reiterate the need for liberation, not just for the poet, but for all beings. The speaker's desire to dance freely, unburdened by societal restrictions, is a plea for collective emancipation. As the poem concludes, the vision of a beautiful sky and the harmony of nature's sounds serve as a poignant reminder of the potential for unity and peace. In Soft Storm, Abhi Subedi crafts a tapestry of vivid imagery and nuanced emotion. Through his seamless interweaving of natural elements and societal critique, he captures the complexities of contemporary Nepalese society, reflecting its tumultuous spirit and the yearning for a more just and harmonious world. The poem's artful blending of the personal and the universal invites readers to reflect on the impact of indifference, the potential for change, and the enduring power of hope. Understanding the text. Answer the following questions. A. When does the speaker grow soft? Enlist the occasions when he grows soft. The speaker in the poem, Soft Storm, grows soft on various occasions. Firstly, when he hears the tumult and witnesses the disorder in the environment, he experiences a softened perspective. Secondly, the imagery of the sky growing, like crocuses, symbolizes hope and softness in the face of adversity. Thirdly, as the moon wanes, he grows soft as he reflects on the language of politics and posters. Fourthly, he softens upon witnessing homeless children crying due to hunger and deprivation in the streets of Tamil. Additionally, he becomes soft-hearted when he observes a forlorn child desperately searching for his mother. His compassion is further stirred by the sight of a man being mercilessly beaten before his family. These instances highlight the emotional impact that suffering and injustice have on the speaker, prompting him to feel empathy and a desire for change. B. What do you understand by this seamless city? This seamless city refers to a city characterized by smoothness and uninterrupted movement, both physically and metaphorically. In the context of the poem, Soft Storm, it signifies a city where people can move about freely, unburdened by societal constraints and obstacles. It suggests a place where individuals can experience true freedom and happiness without the hindrances of inequality, injustice, or discrimination. The term seamless implies a lack of divisions or barriers, where people can interact and live harmoniously. This concept reflects the poet's yearning for a society devoid of social and political interruptions, where the essence of genuine freedom can be savored by all inhabitants, fostering unity and well-being. C. Describe the poor children portrayed in the poem. The poem portrays poor and destitute children who are homeless and parentless. These children are depicted as crying out of hunger and poverty in the vicinity of the bat-bearing trees in Keshamahal, a part of Tamil. The imagery of their cries reflects their desperate circumstances, as they lack basic necessities like food and shelter. These children are emblematic of the marginalized and disadvantaged individuals in society, suffering due to systemic inequalities. The poem highlights their vulnerability and the harsh reality they face, emphasizing the failure of the societal system to ensure their rights and well-being. This portrayal serves as a critique of the societal and political forces that neglect and disregard the plight of these young individuals who are entitled to the protections enshrined in the Constitution. D. What do you understand by the unwed gardens of history? The phrase, unwed gardens of history, refers to the forgotten or neglected episodes of the past, particularly those that did not receive the recognition or attention they deserved. In the context of the poem, Soft Storm, it symbolizes the unexplored and suppressed incidents in Nepalese society, characterized by disorder and lawlessness due to social and political hegemony. These incidents are like untended gardens, left to wither and remain unacknowledged in the annals of history. The term implies a state of neglect and abandonment, suggesting that certain aspects of the society's past have been overlooked or deliberately omitted. It serves as a commentary on the prevailing chaos and power dynamics that have contributed to the marginalization of certain historical events and experiences. E. Why was the forlorn child wailing? The forlorn child was wailing due to the distressing absence of his mother and other loved ones in the contemporary society. The poem, Soft Storm, portrays this child as lost and panicked, searching desperately for his family members. His wailing reflects his helplessness and vulnerability in a world where familial bonds have been disrupted or severed. This image serves as a poignant representation of the disarray and social upheaval prevalent in the society. The child's cries become a poignant symbol of the larger societal issues, highlighting the loss of connections, the breakdown of relationships, and the overall sense of abandonment that can arise amidst the chaos and indifference present in the modern world. F. What do you understand by soft storm? The term soft storm, as used in Abhi Subedi's poem, combines seemingly contradictory words to evoke a complex emotional and societal experience. In this context, soft storm refers to the inner turmoil and disturbances experienced by the poet in response to the chaotic and tumultuous environment of contemporary society. The juxtaposition of soft with storm creates a paradox, suggesting a nuanced blend of emotions. While soft implies a gentle or subdued quality, storm signifies turmoil and upheaval. By combining these words, the poet conveys the idea of a profound inner conflict stirred by the disarray and disorder prevalent in society. The term captures the poet's attempt to articulate the tumultuous emotions and thoughts he feels in response to the prevailing chaos, injustices, and indifference around him. G. Why does the speaker call our time mad time? The speaker labels our time as a mad time due to the rampant chaos and lack of order that seems to prevail in contemporary society. This description underscores the speaker's perception of a society that is not governed by the principles of justice, constitution, or law. The term mad time alludes to the uncontrolled and unruly situation where corruption, political biases, social injustices, and disregard for laws are pervasive. This chaotic environment, characterized by degradation of nature, animal laws, and societal turmoil, prompts the speaker to view the era as one marked by irrationality and a lack of rational governance. The phrase, mad time, captures the speaker's critique of the prevailing societal norms and the perceived loss of ethical values and order in the present day. H. What does the speaker want to do in hard times? In the context of the poem, the speaker expresses the desire to melt like a rainbow in hard times, symbolizing a wish to maintain his compassionate and empathetic nature even in challenging circumstances. The phrase implies that despite the difficulties and adversity that life presents, hard times, the speaker wants to retain his sensitivity and soft-heartedness. By using the image of a rainbow, which is often associated with beauty and a range of colors, the speaker conveys his aspiration to bring a sense of brightness and positivity even when facing difficulties. This desire highlights the speaker's determination to remain true to his compassionate nature, and not let the harsh realities of life harden his heart. Reference to the context. A. The poet uses the word soft with the words like storm and gale, which generally refer to disorder and violence. What effect does the poet achieve through the use of such anomalous expressions? The poet employs anomalous expressions like soft storm and softness rose like a gale, which juxtapose contradictory concepts. These unconventional combinations create a paradoxical effect, disrupting the typical associations between words and their meanings. The poet achieves a multi-layered impact through this technique. Psychologically, it stirs the reader's imagination, prompting them to delve deeper into the juxtaposed ideas. Socially, it mirrors the complexities of contemporary society, which is marked by contradictory forces and emotions. Politically, it reflects the incongruities and ambiguities present in power dynamics and societal norms. Environmentally, it symbolizes the blend of beauty and strength found in nature. By connecting opposing notions, the poet not only captures the inherent contradictions in life but also emphasizes the intricate interplay of different elements. The anomalous expressions serve as a vehicle for the poet to express his thoughts, feelings, and observations about the world around him, infusing the poem with a rich complexity and inviting readers to interpret and engage with the text on multiple levels. B. What is the speaker's attitude towards the time he describes in the poem? The speaker's attitude towards the time he describes in the poem is largely negative and critical. The setting of the poem during the night, with the moon shining but not as brightly as the sun, sets a somber tone. The speaker perceives the passage of time as chaotic and disorderly, labeling it as a mad time. He observes that events occur unexpectedly and inconsistently, reflecting his disillusionment with the unpredictability of life. The speaker's use of anomalous expressions, such as soft storm and softness rose like a gale, further emphasizes his conflicted view of the time, where contradictory elements coexist. Overall, the speaker's attitude conveys a sense of dissatisfaction and frustration with the disorder and social turmoil that characterize the contemporary era. C. What is the speaker like? Is he a rebel? Why? Why not? The speaker exhibits rebellious traits, but his rebellion is not overt or radical. He resembles a rebel as he challenges the prevailing social norms, political dynamics, and environmental degradation depicted in the poem. His observations of the chaotic and unjust society, along with his use of anomalous expressions, reflect his dissent against the status quo. However, his rebellion is presented in a subdued and suppressed manner. The speaker's rebellion is more a reflection of his inner turmoil, empathy, and sensitivity to the issues he observes. His critique of corruption, social indifference, and political chaos signifies his opposition to the prevailing order. While he may not engage in open defiance, his contemplative and critical attitude demonstrates his rebellion against the injustices and disorder he perceives in his surroundings. D. Explain the stanza below in your own words. I became soft when I saw a blood-stained shirt speaking in the earth's ears, with bruised human lips, in the far corner, under the moon of history and dreams, playing hide and seek in open museums of human times. In the fourth stanza of the poem, Soft Storm, by Abhi Subedi, the poet describes a poignant scene. He recounts encountering a man wearing a blood-stained shirt and having bruised lips. This man is depicted as being unable to speak, as his voice is figuratively locked by the powerful elite of society. The stanza evokes a sense of helplessness and oppression, suggesting that the man's voice and rights have been silenced by those in positions of authority. The mention of hide and seek implies a power dynamic reminiscent of a game, where the disadvantaged workers are at the mercy of the landowners. This stanza serves as a powerful commentary on the unequal distribution of power, and the suffering of the marginalized individuals in the society. The vivid imagery of the blood-stained shirt and bruised lips highlights the physical and emotional pain endured by this individual, while the metaphor of locked speech underscores the suppression of their rights and voices. Reference beyond the text. A. Write an essay, highlighting your dissatisfaction towards social, cultural, economic and political issues prevailing in Nepal at present. Social, cultural, economic and political issues prevailing in Nepal. The present state of Nepal is marred by a myriad of social, cultural, economic, and political issues that are deeply concerning. These issues collectively hinder the nation's progress and development, leaving much room for dissatisfaction and concern. In the realm of politics, the competitive multi-party democratic system, though designed to provide stability, often witnesses frequent changes in leadership and lack of continuity in policies. Rule of law, human rights, and constitutional rights are ideals that are more often stated than practiced, leading to a disconnect between governance and the well-being of the citizens. Political leaders often engage in divisive and self-serving tactics, disregarding the needs and aspirations of the people. On the social and economic fronts, deeply entrenched caste systems like that of Dalits perpetuate discrimination and exclusion, limiting opportunities and perpetuating social inequality. The prevalence of corruption, nepotism, and favoritism further erodes public trust in institutions. While Nepal has made strides in poverty reduction, a significant portion of the population still lives below the poverty line, indicating the persistent economic challenges faced by the nation's citizens. Culturally, issues like gender inequality, violence against women, and trafficking are prominent concerns that reflect deeply rooted social norms and attitudes that need to be addressed. The limitations on women's rights and their access to education and opportunities hinder the nation's progress towards gender equality. All these issues create a web of challenges that impede Nepal's overall development and well-being. However, it is important to note that dissatisfaction and concern also reflect a desire for positive change. Many individuals, organizations, and communities within Nepal are working tirelessly to address these issues and bring about transformative improvements. Efforts to address these problems need to involve systemic reforms, educational campaigns, and greater social awareness. Building a more transparent and accountable political culture, eradicating discrimination, promoting economic inclusivity, and challenging harmful cultural norms are essential steps toward a more equitable and prosperous Nepal. By acknowledging these issues and fostering a collective commitment to change, Nepal can pave the way for a brighter future for all its citizens. B. Suppose you are a rebel who wants to change the society by eliminating malpractices and anomalies prevailing in the society. Draft a speech outlining your vision for change. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and my fellow advocates for change. Today, we gather with a shared vision and a collective determination to address the malpractices and anomalies that are corroding the very fabric of our society. I stand before you as a rebel, not against our nation's essence, but against the injustices that mar its progress and potential. It is high time we rise above complacency and ignite the flames of transformation. Our society bears the burden of social evils that hinder our growth and harmony. Alcoholism, racism, child abuse, these are not merely statistics but wounds that bleed our collective soul. Let us be the architects of change and demolish these pillars of injustice. Let our actions speak volumes against these atrocities. The caste system, an ancient vice, continues to haunt our land. It shackles the marginalized, perpetuates inequality, and sows discord. We must break these chains and stand united as one nation, where every citizen is afforded equal opportunities and rights. Child labor and child marriage rob our youth of their potential, shackling them to a cycle of despair. Education is the key that unlocks their future, and it's our duty to ensure they receive it. Illiteracy, the breeding ground of ignorance, is a challenge we must face head-on. We are the torchbearers of knowledge, and it's our duty to light the path for those lost in darkness. Poverty, the shadow that threatens our nation's aspirations, can only be dispelled through education, skill development, and employment generation. Gender inequality tarnishes our society's conscience. We must erase the lines that segregate us based on gender and embrace a future where every individual's potential is nurtured, regardless of their gender. Sanitation and hygiene are not just matters of cleanliness, they reflect our collective responsibility to maintain a healthy society. Let's make our environment a reflection of our values. Change will not come by mere words, but by deliberate action. We must work tirelessly to educate, sensitize, and uplift our fellow citizens. Our government has a pivotal role to play in shaping policies that address these issues and empower the marginalized. But change isn't solely the government's duty, it's ours as well. In the words of Albert Einstein, the world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Let's be the catalysts of change that our society yearns for. Let's empower every citizen, stand up against injustice, and create a Nepal where opportunities are abundant, where the marginalized are empowered, and where compassion and equality are our guiding principles. Thank you, and let's march forward together, united in our pursuit of a brighter future for our nation. Best of luck.